Welcome to Conversations with David Ibarra. Today our guest is Ismar Vallecillos. And Ismar is representing the Western Governors University. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to dive right in and have a chat. Tell us about Western Governors University. And if you would, highlight the online presence that they have and how the program differs from traditional colleges and universities.
Excellent. That we pride ourselves in being a non-traditional university. We are and have always been fully online. 25 years of online. You think back where the internet was 25 years ago.
Yes.
And the 19 governors that had the vision of leveraging technology to bring education to the student. It's how we've always operated. We still do. And we have no traditional semesters. We start every month. Every month we have a new start date. And students enroll for a 6-month term rather than a semester, in which they're able to move at the pace that they're comfortable with. So they can accelerate, they can take their time.
Now tell me, so you can go through the modules within the course as quickly because they're recorded or they are live? How does that work?
So they have all of the resources, so written material, instructor videos. So there is no live classes, right? There's no, it's all asynchronous. And the student can complete it at whatever pace they can. And in addition, because we're competency-based, it's show me what you know rather than regurgitate what you memorized, right? So it's a different way of thinking about education. So the students can actually test their knowledge and skip ahead of the sections that they already know. So we take their experience into account, and the student is able to focus only on the material that they need to learn to get their degree. That's the beauty of competency and online learning.
Well, tell me, so an individual enrolled there, they learn at their own pace, at their own time schedule. So whether it's after work, early in the morning, on the weekends, and they can go as fast as they want. What is the average time that it takes an individual to get a traditional 4-year bachelor's degree?
So our students complete a bachelor's degree in 2.4 years. So about 2.5 is our average. And our master's programs are an average of 1.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, it used to be, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that an online college wasn't quite accepted as a highest degree compared to a University of Utah or Brigham Young. Has that changed?
It has. Since the pandemic, we have seen a lot more acceptance of online education. We've always proven from the beginning that online education was effective. Our students outperform other graduates in their different fields. We have proven that they are workforce ready, that it works. But since the pandemic, we've noticed that traditional academia has added lots of online options, and everyone seems to see that online is effective.
Well, everybody had to jump in and do online. Every company, every school, grade schools, kindergartens. I mean, everybody did. But it's interesting now, the traditional universities all across the world are saying we are internet class option first. It used to be in the night. First, it was night school to accommodate folks that had jobs during the day, and it wasn't quite looked at as the same as going during the day. And then it changed, and now online has changed.
It has, yes. And the traditional 18 to 24-year-olds, which were your college students on campus, that population is shifting. We've noticed that even at WGU, we've seen a 300% increase in enrollment since 2019 in that age group. So yes, the mentality has shifted to I can do what I need to do and still get my education at the same time. So there's definitely been a shift in how it's viewed.
Before I'm going to come back, and I want to talk about cost to go,
Okay.
the cost for a degree as opposed to traditional. And but I think I'd like to tell us a little bit about your job role. What is the title? What is your emphasis of to the Western Governors University?
Yeah. So my title is Director of Regional Operations. So we are broken up into regions. I am the director over the Northwest region. And in a nutshell, my job is to create awareness among potential students, particularly underserved populations, of what the WGU can offer them as far as getting their education.
Now, how many regions did you say the country is divided into?
So there's 7 regions, and so we're the Northwest region.
And so you'd be the equivalent of the dean of in a traditional school of the Northwest region.
Region, exactly. And happens to be one of the largest enrolling of the regions, mainly because we're centered in Utah, and so there's a lot of awareness.
Now, we hear a lot about, student loans and the, somebody getting out of a university and having a debt that is equivalent to a home mortgage. And it's caused certainly a great deal of stress and anxiety as we have our young folks start their lives, that they're having more difficulty. So what is, if you can go through quicker, does that mean that you can go through at a less cost? How cost effective is it for an individual comparing Western Governors University to, let's say, a traditional university?
So Western Governors University is priced probably half of a traditional university. The advantage is, so in numbers, it's about $3,500 for a 6-month term, so just about $7,000 for a year. The students can move at a faster pace, as we've mentioned, and so if a student finishes in half the time, not only are they paying half of that tuition just off the bat, but if they accelerate their education, they save even further on their tuition costs.
So, I always view there's 2 assets that are our biggest, certainly 2 of the largest assets in our lives, and that is time. Yes. Time that is wasted or squandered is lost forever, and nobody's invented a way to make more time.
Right.
Money that is squandered and wasted, you lose that money, but you can make more money. So it sounds like you're addressing both the savings of 2 of the greatest assets of our lives, time and money.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that if you finish early, that you get you don't have to pay the full price for the module or the class that you're participating in?
No. So once you enroll in those 6 months, you pay for those 6 months.
Yes.
Even if it takes you 5. But you don't commit yourself to paying for 4 years like you would at a traditional university. So the students consume only the terms that they're going to utilize for their studies.
And could they increase, if I plan to take a 6 credited classes and I get done early, can I end up taking 8 or 9? Add to it halfway through?
Yes. So as students complete a module, they move on to the next one.
But that next module, does it cost more if it's
no? So those 6 months, it's consume as much as you can.
Wow.
Yes.
I like that plan.
Yeah. So if somebody's a go-getter, if they have time.
It's kind of like a educational smorgasbord. All you can eat.
Oh, it's a buffet. That's right. Yeah. All you can eat.
Great.
Yeah.
I want to move into, obviously, for many of the viewers, they won't know, but we met each other before when you had a keynote speaker come to Utah.
Fernando Fiore.
Yes. And he came here and was on this show with me, an unbelievable personality. And what I really am interested in talking about, why there was a purpose of bringing Fernando.
Yes.
What was that purpose at Western Governors University?
Yes. So it all started with our efforts to reach the Hispanic community. I'll give you some figures. So in Utah, we are at about a 7% enrollment of Hispanic students.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't reflect the population. There is a lot of work to do. There's a lot of awareness that needs to be created of the opportunity that we are. So we thought, who is an individual that can connect with the community, that is recognized? And we had this wild idea of bringing in the goal guy, they call him. You know, he's the one that yells goal during the soccer games. He's a big World Cup announcer, Fernando Fiore. And Fernando flat out told us that he wanted to give back, that he was at a point in his life where he wanted to give back, and that this was a way for him to give back to the Latino community by promoting education.
Mm-hmm.
And so he agreed to come to Utah to be part of our commencement ceremony that we had, and to be the face of WGU in the Hispanic market. And that's what brought him here.
An incredible character, personality, and human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
When he gave his commencement speech, was that an online program, or did you have folks in attendance?
So it was here in Salt Lake City in person, and he was there and addressed our students. Yes.
And how many attended?
So we had about over 2,000 students.
Oh, cool.
That attended in person at the.
And of course,
arena.
it was online as well for those that couldn't.
So we recorded, we promoted, but in person we had.
Excellent. Now, while he was here and I was interviewing him, I got a little worked up, and I said, you know, he's doing something, and obviously we had that conversation about the Ibarra Foundation, and that we have put through my foundation about 130 students through college, and we paid for that on our own dime. We don't raise any money from anyone, but occasionally somebody hears about our effort and donates something. I received, a matter of fact, a $1,000 check with a wonderful letter. Please make sure this finds a good home.
Wow.
Which is good. But Fernando got me a little excited, so I made a commitment, I think, right on air.
You did.
Of doing some scholarships. So what we did was we made an agreement and just finalized the agreement of $100,000 to Western Governors University over 3 years, and we've started that now. And I tell you, it was been a pleasure working with you. Do you want to talk about any of the part on your side was having the university match that, I believe, and they did. So
yeah, we're matching dollar for dollar. So there's $200,000 available to Utah students, with preference being given to those of Mexican and Hispanic heritage.
And people, you know, I like to use the term Mexican American.
Mexican American.
I know that, you know, we're changing from Latino to Hispanic to Latinx.
Yes.
I don't spend much time talking about the what I want to be called. I want to spend all my time on closing the gap. And for me, the motivation was to honor my father and to increase the relationship between the United States and Mexico. My father, Francisco Ibarra, came from Oaxaca at the age of 15 to work in Spanish Fork, Utah, picking fruit. And he had the courage to make that trip alone, legal, part of a program between the United States and Mexico to provide workers, because our young men were involved in a conflict that we had in Korea. And I was thinking about Dad, and I thought when I was listening to Fernando, and I said, you know, while I love the Latino community, which I'm a part of, I wanted to give special emphasis to Mexican American kids, like my dad. And so at any rate, it motivated me. And I tell you what, I'm really proud and happy to be involved. And thanks for the university giving their $100,000, and we're honored to give our $100,000 to make it $200,000.
And we are very, very grateful for your contribution. We are. I myself am grateful because I know that population, our Hispanic population, finances seem to be a hurdle into education, and to have that help given to them, we are changing generations, elevating their sights to what they can become and what they can achieve, and so we're grateful for your generosity as well.
Well, and I'll tell you that for me, there's nothing more important than getting it in the mindset of every kid from the moment they begin to speak that they're going to get an education. Now, there's more than one way to get an education. Certainly, a university I would promote is the best. I got mine through junior colleges, and I'd look at every job promotion I had, and I'd look at the job description. If I didn't know anything about contract law, I took contract law classes.
Right.
If it was accounting, I took accounting classes. And you learn a lot on the job. But whatever it is, make the promise to yourself. Anybody watching this, have your kids make a promise to themselves. They're going to get an education, because with one, you're going to do great things, and an education and the knowledge you gain, the wisdom you get, can never be taken away from you.
Definitely.
Never be taken away from you.
Yeah, I myself am an immigrant. So I'm a first-generation immigrant from El Salvador. Grew up in Arizona, landscaping with my father. The man is 70 years old, and he's still doing the same work. It's incredible. And he always told me, you need to go above what I've done. Like, I put you here, you need to go further. And education was what he instilled in me as the weapon, or the way to move my future ahead. And I went through ASU on scholarships and grants, and I put myself through school. And then I went to NAU and got my master's there. And yes, that has been the tool that has opened the doors of opportunity. They wouldn't have been opened otherwise.
Now, is your father did he come to the United States?
From El Salvador.
Right.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that story. How did that all occur?
So the setting is in 1982. There was a civil war in El Salvador, very severe. The economy was in shambles, difficult to get work. He was a computer programmer. And the companies were pulling out of El Salvador because of the instability. And he started to look for a solution. And like many, the United States was an opportunity. And he came up by himself with, I think he showed up here with $7 in his pocket.
How old
by
was
the
he
time
at the
he got
time?
here. He must have been 30,
Okay, cool.
32, 33 years old. Yeah. And came up by bus, and there were some other Salvadorians here that kind of networked and helped him find work. And in time, he made connections with people that helped bring the rest of us up to the United States.
And during that time period, he must have met your mom.
No, he already had my mom.
Oh, is that right?
He
They
was
came
married.
together?
Yes, he came here by himself, and with the promise that he would
Wow.
bring the rest of us.
What
up
courage
here.
to separate and change your daily, we all have our routines and things of that nature. And I tell you what, I think we both take a moment and thank our fathers
Oh,
for
definitely.
the courage that they have.
Yes.
Well, with that, is there any parting words you'd like to share about Western Governors University?
What I would say is, if anyone listening fits the description, Mexican Americans thinking about education, not quite sure how then look up wgu.edu/ibarrascholarship, and you'll find the information to take advantage of this great opportunity to afford school and make that leap of faith into educating yourselves and changing your future.
And I would say to other businesses, it may not be a foundation, it may not even be scholarships, but in 2004, I decided I was going to pick my one thing that I was going to do, that I was going to put the money that was extra, and sometimes it wasn't extra. I had to, there were times in 2009, I think I had to borrow the $50,000 to put in. Thank heavens it was the only time. But do something to make our planet, our community, this world a better place. And having somebody gain hope and desire that they too can have success and take care of themselves and their family financially, man, that unlocks the shackles that sometimes hold us back in being able to pay attention to the most important roles in our life: family, friends, faith, community, health, and wealth. So with that, we'll close, and thank you so much for being on our program.
Pleasure
today.
to be here. Thank you.